The coalition fleet retreated, but human ships followed. Commander Nari ordered her forces to strike hard, to make the aliens remember this defeat forever. Human fighters darted between the massive coalition vessels, targeting engines and weapons. More ships fell. High Counselor Taman watched the carnage with a heavy heart. He had ordered the retreat, but the humans were not stopping. They were hunting his ships like predators chasing wounded prey. "Contact the humans," he ordered. "Tell them we surrender. Tell them we want peace." The communication officer shook his head. "They are not responding, Counselor. They just keep attacking." Captain Daewon stood in his quarters on Earth watching the battle through the communication feeds. He felt sick. This was exactly what he feared. The war had become about revenge, not survival. Major Sang-ho entered without knocking. "Captain, we need your help." "Help with what?"
"Stopping Commander Nari before she starts a genocide." They rushed to Earth's Central Command.
Nari stood at the tactical display, directing her forces with cold efficiency. Sang-ho approached her carefully. "Commander, they are retreating. The war is over." "The war is over when I say it is over," Nari replied without looking at him. "When they beg, when they cry, when they understand what they did to us." "This is not justice," Daewon said. "This is revenge." Nari turned to face him. Her eyes were hard. "You are an alien. You do not get to tell humans about justice. Where was your justice 300 years ago? Where was your mercy when your people killed 30,000 civilians? That was not me. I was not even born. But it was your people, your coalition, and you covered it up." "You lied," Nari pointed at the display. "Every ship out there belongs to a species that chose to attack us. They voted for this war. They sent these fleets. Now they pay the price." Dr. Ji-won's voice came over the communication system. "Commander Nari, this is Dr. Ji-won. I am the one who leaked the original contact files. I exposed the truth. Please listen to me." Nari paused. "Why should I listen to you?" "Because I am coalition and I am telling you that you are right. We wronged you terribly. We killed your people. We lied about it. We attacked you again when you defended yourselves. You have every right to be angry. Then why are you asking me to stop?" "Because you are better than us," Ji-won said simply. "Humans could have attacked civilian targets. You did not. Humans could have used biological weapons. You did not. Humans could have committed genocide. You did not. You fought with honor even though we did not deserve it." Ji-won's voice grew softer. "I have studied humans for years. I know your history. You have done terrible things to each other. But you also have something we lost long ago. You have the ability to choose mercy even when revenge would feel better." Nari stared at the tactical display. The coalition ships were scattered, broken, fleeing. She could destroy them all. It would be easy. It would feel good. But it would make humans exactly what the galaxy feared they were. Monsters. 1-6 spoke quietly. "Commander, what do we want? Do we want victory? Or do we want peace?" Nari closed her eyes. She remembered the human history lessons. The battles, the wars, the millions dead. And she remembered the lesson that took humans thousands of years to learn. Winning a war means nothing if you lose your soul doing it. "All ships," she said into the command channel. "Cease fire. Let them go." The human fleet stopped attacking. The coalition ships continued their retreat, faster now, desperate to escape. The Battle of Sol was over. Across the galaxy, people watched the recordings. They saw the Grand Armada, the pride of the coalition, fleeing from a single species. They saw human ships stopping their pursuit even though they could have won. They saw Commander Nari choosing mercy. The coalition government fell within days. High Counselor Taman resigned in shame. New leaders took control, promising to make things right. The first thing they did was request peace negotiations with Earth. The negotiations took place on a neutral space station, far from both Earth and coalition space. Commander Nari led the human delegation. She brought Major Sang-ho, Captain Minji, and Dr. Kyung-soo. People who had fought, who had bled, who had earned the right to speak for humanity. The coalition sent representatives from every major species. But they also brought Captain Daewon, Dr. Ji-won, and Young Jae, the ones who had tried to prevent the war. The negotiations were tense. The coalition offered reparations for the destroyed colony ships. They offered official recognition of humanity. They offered trade agreements, technology exchange, scientific cooperation, but Nari demanded more. "We want the truth. We want every school in the coalition to teach what really happened. We want our dead remembered. We want everyone to know that humans came in peace and you murdered us." The coalition delegates agreed. They would tell the truth. All of it, no more lies, no more cover-ups, and one more thing, Nari added. "We will help you." The room fell silent. "Help us?" one delegate asked in confusion. "You have forgotten how to fight, how to defend yourselves, how to survive. The galaxy is vast. There may be threats out there worse than humans. When that day comes, you will need warriors who remember how to fight." Sang-Ho stood up. "Humans will establish a defense academy. We will teach coalition forces modern military doctrine, strategy, tactics, combat psychology. We will train you to defend your worlds." "Why would you help us after what we did?" someone asked. Minji answered. "Because we are not monsters. We fought to survive, not to conquer. We want peace, but peace only works when everyone is strong enough to defend it." The Treaty of First Contact was signed 3 weeks later. It established new rules for the galaxy. Official recognition of humanity as a sovereign species, reparations for victims, technology exchange programs, and the Defense Academy, where humans would train coalition forces. But the most important part was the historical mandate. Every coalition school would teach the true story of First Contact. The children would learn about the 30,000 humans who died. They would learn about the 300 years of preparation. They would learn about the war and the peace that followed. 5 years passed. The galaxy changed in ways no one predicted. Human ships traveled between the stars, trading, exploring, making friends. Human music became popular. Human food, human art, human stories spread across coalition worlds. Earth became a tourist destination. Aliens came to see the legendary Death World. They walked carefully through nature preserves, terrified of the predators. They marveled at human cities built in impossible places. They took pictures with human soldiers at the Defense Academy. Captain Day One, now Ambassador Day One, lived on Earth most of the time. He had written 5 books about human culture. His work was required reading for all coalition diplomats. He was no longer called the Terran Fool. Now he was called the Human Friend. Dr. G1 worked at the Joint Research Facility on the Moon. Human and coalition scientists worked together, combining coalition knowledge with human engineering. They created new technologies that helped everyone. G1 had more human friends than coalition friends now. She wrote in her personal journal, "Humans are exhausting, crazy, and wonderful. I cannot imagine my life without them." Commander Nari retired from the military and became director of the Defense Academy. She trained thousands of coalition officers. She taught them human tactics and human strategy, but more important, she taught them the human mindset. "War is not about who has the most ships," she told every graduating class. "War is about will, about determination, about refusing to quit. But the greatest victory is making your enemy choose to be your friend instead. Strength is not about how many you can kill. Strength is about how many you can save." Major Sang-Ho became Earth's ambassador to the coalition. He traveled between worlds, building relationships, creating bonds. He had a gift for making aliens understand human thinking. He once told Day One, "We are not that different, your people and mine. You forgot how to fight. We forgot how to trust. Together, we remember both." On the anniversary of the treaty, Earth held a memorial service. They honored the 30,000 dead from the colony ships, but they also honored the coalition soldiers who died in the war. Humans and aliens stood together, remembering the cost of conflict. At the ceremony, Nari gave a speech. 300 years ago, humans reached out to the stars in peace. We were destroyed. We spent 3 centuries preparing for revenge. But when the moment came, we chose mercy instead. Not because we were weak, not because we forgave, but because we remembered that we wanted peace, not victory. She looked at the mixed crowd of humans and aliens. Today we stand together, not as conquerors and conquered, not as victors and defeated, but as allies who learned a hard lesson. The universe is dangerous. The universe is vast, but it is better when we face it together. The coalition had learned humans were real. They learned humans were dangerous. But they also learned that dangerous did not mean evil. Sometimes the most dangerous species are the ones most worth befriending. Because when darkness comes, you want warriors beside you. And humans, for all their violence, for all their capacity for destruction, were the best warriors the galaxy had ever seen. But they were also teachers, friends, and guardians. They fought when they had to. They protected those who could not protect themselves, and they never forgot that peace was worth fighting for. Far above them, in orbit, the first human ships equipped with faster-than-light drives prepared for their mission. The Coalition was gathering. The Grand Armada assembled at the edge of Coalition space, 50,000 warships from 847 different species, the largest military fleet in recorded history. High Counselor Taman stood on the command deck of the flagship, watching the endless sea of ships stretch in every direction. "This is wrong," he whispered to himself. Admiral Bora approached him. She had been given command of the entire armada despite her loss at Praxis 7. Some said it was punishment. Others said it was because she was the only one who truly understood what they faced. "The fleet is ready, Counselor," Bora reported. "We will reach the Sol system in 3 days. How many will die?" Taman asked. Bora was silent for a moment. "All of them if the humans fight like they did before. Maybe none if they surrender. They will not surrender. No, they will not." On Earth, Commander Nari addressed her command staff. Maps of the Coalition's approach route glowed in holographic detail. The human military had tracked every ship in the Armada. They knew exactly when the aliens would arrive. "They think overwhelming force will make us give up," Nari said. Her voice was calm, cold. "They do not understand humans. Let me tell you what will happen. They will arrive at our solar system in 3 days. They will demand our surrender. We will refuse. Then they will attack." She pointed at the map. "The asteroid belt here. We have placed 3,000 nuclear mines. They will try to disable them. Good luck. Each mine has backup triggers and dead man switches. Jupiter's moons here. We have hidden weapon platforms in every crater. They look like rocks. They are not rocks, like Saturn's rings here. Millions of pieces of debris. Some are ice. Some are metal fragments traveling at 50,000 kilometers per hour. Their shields will not help." Wansik, her assistant, looked worried. "Commander, even with all these defenses, 50,000 ships is too many. They will get through." "Of course they will," Nari agreed. "This is not about stopping them. This is about making them pay, making them bleed, making them question if this war is worth it." She activated another map. This one showed Coalition space. "While they attack us here, we attack them there. Strike teams are already in position. Faster-than-light drives ready. We will hit their supply lines, their communication networks, their undefended worlds. They will call us terrorists," someone said. "They can call us whatever they want. We will call ourselves survivors." Dr. Kyung-soo's FTL prototype ships were ready. 12 vessels, small and fast, equipped with experimental drives. Each carried a crew of 20 volunteers. These were suicide missions, and everyone knew it. Captain Minji commanded the first strike team. Yes, the same Minji from the colony ship Eternal Hope. She had survived the first encounter with the Coalition. Now she would lead the counterattack. "Our target is Nexus Prime," she briefed her crew, the Coalition capital. "We will not attack civilians. We will not harm non-combatants. But we will destroy their central communication hub. Cut off their ability to coordinate the Armada." Tae-hyun, her second officer, raised his hand. "If we do this, there is no going back. They will hunt us across the galaxy." Minji smiled grimly. "They are already hunting us. At least this way we make it count." The 12 ships jumped into FTL space. The drives worked barely. The journey was rough, and 2 ships did not survive the jump. But 10 ships emerged in Coalition space, hundreds of light years from Earth. They struck fast. Orbital stations exploded. Communication satellites went dark. Military depots burned. The Coalition had never defended their core worlds because they never needed to. Now they learned a hard lesson. Safety is an illusion. Captain Daewon was still on Earth when the attacks began. Major Sang-ho found him in his quarters, watching news from across the galaxy. "Coalition worlds were in chaos. You are destroying our civilization," Daewon said quietly. "No," Sang-ho replied. "We are fighting for our survival. Your people started this war 300 years ago. We are ending it. By killing innocents, we have killed no civilians. Every target was military. Every strike was precise. We are not monsters, Captain, but we will not die quietly." Daewon turned to face him. "The Armada will destroy Earth, you must know this. 50,000 ships. Even with all your defenses, they will break through." "Probably," Sang-ho agreed, "but it will cost them. And while they are busy destroying Earth, we will be destroying their empire. They will win the battle and lose the war. Is victory worth this much death?" Sang-ho was quiet for a long moment. You know what humans call the strategy of fighting even when you know you will lose? We call it making them remember. If we die fighting. And the Coalition will remember the cost of attacking Earth for the next 10,000 cycles. The Grand Armada reached the Sol system's edge. High Counselor Taemin broadcast his ultimatum. Humans of Earth, this is your last chance. Surrender now. Face justice for your attacks. We promise fair treatment and mercy. Commander Nari's response was broadcast from Earth on every frequency. We came in peace 300 years ago. You murdered us. We built ships to find new homes. You destroyed them. Now you demand we surrender? No, you want Earth? Come and take it. The Coalition forces advanced. They moved carefully, scanning for threats. They found the first minefield in minutes. The nuclear explosions lit up space like new stars. Admiral Bo-Ra watched her forward ships die. Push through. We have the numbers, more ships advanced. More mines detonated. The Coalition forces kept moving. They were losing ships, but they were making progress. Then they reached Jupiter. The hidden weapons platforms activated. Kinetic cannons launched solid metal at incredible speeds. Railguns fired. The human weapons were primitive but devastatingly effective. Coalition ships tumbled through space, hulls torn open. Return fire, Bo-Ra ordered. Plasma beams lanced out, destroying the platforms. But for every platform destroyed, 3 more revealed themselves. The humans had been preparing this battlefield for 300 years. The battle became a grinding war of attrition. The Coalition advanced meter by meter, paying in blood for every kilometer. But they had the numbers. Slowly, painfully, they pushed forward. On Earth, Nari watched the battle reports. They are through the outer defenses. Time to final attack? 2 hours, Commander. Good, activate Protocol Thermopylae. Every ship, every station, every gun. Make them earn it. Young Jay, back with the Coalition fleet, monitored the battle data. His skin flashed with concern. Admiral, we have lost 9,000 ships. The humans have lost 300 defensive platforms. This ratio is unsustainable. Bo-Ra knew he was right. But what choice did they have? Continue the advance, then her sensors detected something new. Human ships, hundreds of them, coming from behind. The strike teams had returned from their raids and were attacking the Armada's rear. We are surrounded, Bo-Ra realized with horror. They baited us in. The human ships were smaller, weaker, but they fought with coordinated precision. They used the asteroid belt for cover. They struck and vanished. They were turning the entire solar system into a death trap. In Coalition space, panic spread. The attacks had stopped, but the damage was done. Communication networks were down, supply chains disrupted, and worst of all, the people were afraid. For 6,000 cycles, the Coalition promised safety. Now that promise was broken. Dr. Ji-won worked frantically in her lab. She had been analyzing the battles, searching for a way to stop the killing. She found something in the old archives that made her hands shake. The original first contact logs. The real ones, not the sanitized versions. 300 years ago, a Coalition exploration ship had encountered human colony vessels. The human ships were unarmed. They broadcast greetings in every language. They offered trade, friendship, knowledge. The Coalition captain, seeing primitive vessels, decided to test his new weapons. He fired without warning. Both colony ships were destroyed. 30,000 humans died. Men, women, children, all innocent. The captain filed a report claiming the humans attacked first. The Coalition covered it up. No one wanted to admit they had committed genocide against a peaceful species. Ji-won copied the files. Every image, every recording, every piece of evidence. Then she did something that would change everything. She sent it to every news network in the galaxy. Within hours, the truth spread like fire. The Coalition had lied. The humans were defending themselves. Everything humans did was revenge for an unprovoked massacre. On thousands of Coalition worlds, protests erupted. Stop the war! Justice for humans! We are the monsters. High Counselor Taemin received the files in the middle of the battle. He read them. He watched the recordings of peaceful human ships being destroyed. He saw the children. Pull back, he ordered quietly. Sir? Admiral Bo-Ra could not believe what she heard. I said, pull back. The war is over, but we are winning. No, Taemin said, his voice filled with shame. We lost this war 300 years ago. We just did not know it. The Grand Armada began to withdraw, but Commander Nari was not ready to stop fighting. They are retreating, Wonsik reported. Good. Chase them. Make them run. Commander, they are pulling back. Is that not what we wanted? Nari looked at him with cold eyes. What I want is for them to never threaten humanity again. What I want is for the galaxy to fear us so much. The recordings from the Battle of Praxis 7 spread across the galaxy like a virus. Every coalition species watched them. Every leader studied them. And everyone felt the same cold fear. The video that shocked people most was simple. A human fighter pilot, her ship torn apart and losing air, still fired her weapons. Her face was visible through the cracked helmet. She was smiling. As her ship exploded, the last thing anyone heard was her voice. Worth it. Admiral Bora sat in her quarters watching the recordings again and again. She had lost 169 ships. Good ships with good crews. And the humans had been laughing. Actually laughing while they killed and died. She wrote a report for the council. Her hands shook as she typed. The humans do not fight to win territory. They do not fight for resources. They fight because we hurt them, and they will make us pay for every drop of blood. This is not a war we can win with ships and weapons. This is a war against a species that views death as an acceptable price. High Counselor Taemin called an emergency council meeting. Representatives from all 847 species gathered. The chamber was usually calm, filled with logical debate. Today it was chaos. Everyone spoke at once, shouting over each other. We must destroy them before they destroy us. We should negotiate. How can we negotiate with monsters? We fired first. This is our fault. Taemin raised his hands for silence. When the noise died down, he spoke carefully. Captain Daewon has just returned from the Sol system. He spent time with the humans. Let him speak. Daewon walked to the center of the chamber. He looked tired. His blue scales had lost their shine. I have been to Earth. I have spoken with their leaders. And I must tell you something you will not want to hear. We cannot beat them. The chamber exploded with angry voices. Daewon waited for silence, then continued. The humans have 50 billion people on their homeworld alone. They have colonies on every moon and planet in their system. Their industrial capacity is greater than the top 10 coalition worlds combined. They can build warships faster than we can destroy them. He showed images from Earth. Massive factories that stretched for miles. Shipyards building hundreds of vessels at once. Cities that never stopped working day and night. But the worst part is not their numbers or their industry. The worst part is their culture. Daewon showed more images. Museums filled with weapons from human history. Monuments to their wars. Libraries with books about strategy and tactics written over thousands of years. He showed human sports where they fought each other for entertainment. They do not just accept violence. They celebrate it. Every human child learns about their greatest warriors. They tell stories about battles like we tell stories about scientific achievements. War is art to them. War is honor. War is their history. Young Jae, Daewon's first officer, stepped forward. His skin flashed red with distress. I studied their entertainment. Their movies, their books, their games. Every story is about struggle. About fighting impossible odds. About refusing to surrender. They teach their children that giving up is worse than death. The council sat in horrified silence. Dr. Ji-won presented her final findings. I have analyzed human biology in detail. They are pursuit predators. On Earth, humans would chase prey for days until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. They can run in any weather. They can survive on minimal food and water. They heal from injuries that would cripple us. She showed a medical scan. This is a human soldier named Dong-hyun. He was shot 3 times in their last war, lost part of his lung, and was declared medically dead for 2 minutes. He recovered fully and returned to active duty 6 months later. Their regeneration ability is incredible, but the truly terrifying part is this. Ji-won showed a chemical diagram. Adrenaline. When humans face danger, their bodies release this. It increases their strength by up to 40%. It makes them faster. It blocks pain signals. It sharpens their senses. Humans have a biological combat mode built into their bodies. One council member stood up. This is impossible. No species evolved specifically for warfare. Earth did not evolve humans for warfare, Ji-won replied quietly. Earth evolved humans to survive. War is just what they did with those survival skills. Taemin asked the question everyone was thinking. Can we make peace? Daewon shook his head. The humans are willing to talk, but they will not surrender. And they will not forgive what we did to their colony ships. 300 years ago, a coalition captain destroyed 2 unarmed human vessels. 30,000 civilians died. The humans have not forgotten. That was before my time, Taemin protested. I had nothing to do with that. The humans do not care. They remember, and they want justice. While the council debated, Earth prepared for total war. Commander Nari stood in the central command center, watching updates from across human space. She was tall, scarred, and cold-eyed. She had fought in Earth's last civil war, and knew exactly what humans could do when properly motivated. Status report, she ordered. All. Orbital factories at maximum production, replied her assistant Wansik. We are building 20 new warships per day. Retrofit of civilian vessels proceeding on schedule. We will have a fleet of 2,000 ships within 6 months. Not fast enough, Nari said. The coalition has thousands of worlds. Eventually, they will bring enough ships to overwhelm us. Then what do? Nari smiled. It was not a kind smile. We do what humans have always done. We take the fight to them. She activated a holographic map of coalition space. Here, and here. Major supply depots. We hit them hard, fast, and disappear. Make them defend everything. Make them scared. That is terrorism, 1/6 said carefully. No, that is war, and we will fight it until they learn to leave us alone. Deep in the lunar military research facilities, human scientists worked on something that would change everything. Dr. Kyung-soo led the team. He was young, brilliant, and obsessed with the captured coalition technology. We have it, he told Commander Nari during a video call. A working faster-than-light drive. Nari leaned forward. How fast? Crude, unreliable, but functional. We can move ships across interstellar distances. Not as smooth as coalition drives, but it works. How long until we can equip a fleet? 3 months for a prototype fleet. 6 months for mass production. Nari did the math in her head. With FTL drives, humans could strike anywhere in the galaxy. The coalition would have to defend everything everywhere all at once. It was impossible. Do it, she ordered. And keep it secret. I want this to be a surprise. Back on the coalition capital world, Captain Daewon met privately with Dr. Ji-won. They sat in a quiet cafe, away from the chaos of the council. They are going to mobilize the entire fleet, Daewon said quietly. 50,000 ships. They plan to crush Earth before humans can become a bigger threat. Ji-won's light pulsed with sadness. Then billions will die. On both sides. Can we stop it? I do not know, but I have been reading human history. Do you know what happens when someone brings overwhelming force against cornered humans? Daewon shook his head. The humans fight harder. There is a story from their ancient history. A massive empire attacked a small human city-state. The empire had hundreds of thousands of soldiers. The city-state had 300 warriors. The battle should have lasted minutes. What happened? The 300 held a narrow mountain pass. They fought for 3 days against the entire empire's army. All 300 died, but they killed thousands and gave their people time to prepare. The city-state eventually won the war. Humans call it the Battle of Thermopylae. They teach it to every child. Why? Because it shows what humans believe, that fighting, even against impossible odds, is better than surrender. That 300 brave warriors can change history. That death with honor is better than life with shame. Daewon felt his blood run cold. The Council is sending 50,000 ships against Earth. Yes, the humans will not surrender. No, they will turn their entire solar system into Thermopylae, and we will pay in blood for every meter. On Earth, Major Sang-ho was assigned as liaison to Captain Daewon. He spoke perfect Galactic Common and understood coalition culture. His job was to explain humanity to the aliens. He took Daewon on a tour of human civilization. They visited cities, farms, factories, and schools. Daewon saw humans living normal lives, working, laughing, raising families. They seemed so peaceful. You are not what I expected, Daewon admitted. Sang-ho smiled. What did you expect? Monsters? Yes, we are not monsters, Captain. We are people. But we are also survivors. Earth taught us that being peaceful does not mean being weak. Being kind does not mean being harmless. We can be both. They stood on a hill overlooking a memorial, thousands of names carved in stone, humans who died in their past wars. We remember them, Sang-ho said quietly. Everyone. We teach our children their names. We tell their stories. Not because we love war, but because we refuse to forget the cost of war. That way we fight only when we must. And now you must fight us. Yes, because you fired first. Because you killed 30,000 civilians. Because if we do not fight, you will do it again. Sang-ho looked at Daewon. We do not want to destroy the coalition. We want you to leave us alone. But if you force us to choose between peace and survival, we will always choose survival. Commander Hyun-sik stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the empty colony world below. Praxis 7 should have been home to 3 million coalition citizens. The cities were still there. The power was still running. But every single person was gone. Any signs of struggle? Hyun-sik asked his tactical officer. None, sir. No damage to buildings, no bodies. It is like they just vanished. But they had not vanished. Hyun-sik's team found something in the main city square. Symbols painted on the ground in red. Strange writing that no one could read. His communications officer took pictures and sent them to Dr. Ji-won at her research station. The response came back within an hour. Ji-won's voice shook with fear. Commander, that writing is human. I have been studying their language. The message says we came in peace. You fired first. Now we take what we need. Hyun-sik felt his insect body go cold. Humans are real? Yes, and they are here. High Counselor Taemin could not believe the reports. Humans were supposed to be extinct. They were supposed to be myths. But now they had taken 3 colony worlds and thousands of citizens. We must respond, said Admiral Bora, commander of the coalition's largest fleet. She was Velcrosian, with tentacles instead of arms, and she commanded 200 warships. Send me to deal with this threat. I will capture these humans and bring them to justice. Taemin did not want war. The coalition had not fought a real war in 6,000 cycles. But he had no choice. Go, but try to capture them alive. We need to understand what happened. Admiral Bora gathered the 47th Pacification Fleet, 200 ships with plasma weapons, energy shields, and the best technology in the galaxy. She felt confident. What could primitive humans do against such power? Far away, Captain Daewon's small science ship entered the Sol system. His crew was nervous. If humans were real and dangerous, coming here might be suicide. But Daewon had to know the truth. Sir, I am detecting radio signals, said Young Jae, his first officer. Young Jae's skin changed colors rapidly, showing his fear. Hundreds of them. Music, voices, data streams. This system is full of activity. Daewon's hearts beat faster. He was right. Humans were real. They were alive. And they had technology. Move us closer to the 3rd planet, Daewon ordered. Power down all weapons. We come in peace. As they approached Earth, they saw satellites, space stations, and ships. Many ships. The humans had a space fleet. Daewon broadcast a message in Galactic Common, the language all Coalition species spoke. This is Captain Daewon of the Galactic Coalition. We come in peace. We wish to speak with you. The response came in broken but understandable Galactic Common. The voice was hard, angry. Identify yourselves or be destroyed. Daewon was shocked. No one threatened Coalition ships ever. We mean no harm. We only want to talk. The human voice grew colder. The last aliens who found us destroyed our colony ships 300 years ago. They killed 30,000 humans without warning. We have spent 3 centuries building weapons to make sure that never happens again. You have 1 hour to leave our system, Daewon tried to explain. He tried to say he was different, that he came in peace. But the humans would not listen. They had been hurt before. They would not trust aliens again. Meanwhile, Admiral Bora's fleet arrived at the location where Praxis 7's colonists were last detected. Her sensors showed an unusual reading. Space itself looked wrong, like something was hidden there. Ma'am, I think we should be careful, her tactical officer warned. This could be a trap. Nonsense, Bora replied. We are the Galactic Coalition. We have the finest ships and the best technology. What could possibly harm us? The space around them rippled. Suddenly ships appeared. Dozens of human ships that had been invisible, hiding with technology the Coalition did not expect. The ships were smaller than Coalition vessels. They looked crude, built from basic metals, but they moved fast. Unknown vessels, this is Admiral Bora of the Coalition. Surrender now and we will show mercy. The human response was simple. No. Then they opened fire. Bora expected energy weapons. She expected something her shields could block. Instead, long metal rods launched from the human ships. They had no engines, no guidance systems, just solid metal moving incredibly fast. The rods punched through Bora's shields like they were not even there. They tore through hull armor. They destroyed ships with single hits. Energy shields were designed to stop energy. They did nothing against solid metal moving at impossible speeds. Return fire, Bora screamed. Her ships fired plasma weapons. The beams hit human ships and some exploded, but not enough. The humans kept coming, and they were doing something Bora had never seen before. One human ship, badly damaged and burning, changed course. It aimed straight at a Coalition destroyer. Bora watched in horror as the human pilot flew directly into the Coalition ship. Both exploded in a ball of fire. "They are killing themselves," her tactical officer shouted. "They are crashing into us on purpose." More human ships did the same thing. They were sacrificing themselves to take out Coalition vessels. It made no sense. Warriors were supposed to value their lives. They were supposed to retreat when injured, but humans did not retreat. Bora tried everything. She used better tactics. She focused fire. She tried to jam their communications. Nothing worked. The humans fought like demons, never stopping, never surrendering. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it was over, Bora counted her losses. She had started with 200 ships. She had 31 left. The humans had lost only 12 ships. The mathematics made no sense. The Coalition had better technology. They had better shields. They had everything, but they lost. Bora recorded everything and sent it back to the council. Then she ordered her remaining ships to retreat. They had to warn everyone. They had to make people understand. Humans were not just real. They were the most dangerous thing the galaxy had ever seen. On the Coalition capital world, High Counselor Tae-min watched the battle recordings with growing horror. The videos showed human pilots laughing as they died, singing songs while their ships burned, making jokes even as life support failed. One recording made everyone in the council chamber go silent. A human pilot in a crippled fighter spoke his last words. "Tell your children about us. Tell them what happens when you poke the death world." Then he manually detonated his ship's reactor, destroying 3 Coalition destroyers with him. "What are they?" someone whispered. Dr. Jiwon stepped forward. She had been brought to the council to explain. Her light pulsed nervously as she spoke. "Humans come from Earth, a Class 12 death world, the most dangerous classification we have. Their planet's gravity is stronger than most species can survive. Their air has oxygen levels that would poison us. Their world has extreme temperatures, violent weather, and thousands of predator species." She showed images of Earth. Tigers that could tear through armor, bears that weighed more than most species, snakes with venom that killed in minutes, spiders, sharks, crocodiles, and things with too many teeth. Humans evolved as hunters. They can run for days without stopping. They can survive in any climate. They heal from injuries that would kill us, and their bodies produce a combat drug called adrenaline. When threatened, they become faster, stronger, and feel no pain. The council sat in stunned silence. But the most dangerous thing, Jiwon continued, is their history. Humans have been fighting each other for their entire existence. They have had thousands of wars. Some killed millions. They write books about war. They teach their children strategy games. They name their ships after battles. Fighting is not something humans do. Fighting is what humans are. Tae-min understood now why the battle went so wrong. The Coalition had forgotten how to fight. They had 6,000 cycles of peace. But humans? "Humans never stopped fighting. What do we do?" Tae-min asked. Before anyone could answer, alerts sounded. Human ships had just appeared in Coalition space. Not near Earth, behind their lines. Hitting supply stations. Destroying communication relays. Attacking reinforcement fleets before they could join Admiral Bora. The humans were not waiting to be attacked. They were bringing the war to the Coalition, and Tae-min realized with growing dread that the Coalition might lose. The massive library stretched for miles inside the Coalition Central Archives. Daewon walked slowly between the tall shelves, his blue-scaled skin reflecting the soft lights above. His 4 eyes scanned the ancient data tablets, searching for something most people said did not exist. He was looking for proof of humans. For 20 years, Daewon had studied the old stories. Tales of violent creatures from a dangerous world, stories of beings who fought without fear and never surrendered. Most scholars laughed at him. They called him crazy. They said humans were just myths, stories made up to scare children. But Daewon believed. He had found too many strange things to ignore. Old weapons that did not match any known design, data fragments in an unknown language, and most important, the crashed ships, 3 ships found drifting in deep space. Ancient and damaged, but clearly built by intelligent beings. The design was wrong, too basic, too crude, but they worked. Someone had built them, Someone had flown them. And then someone had destroyed them. Day One had spent 5 years learning the language from those ships. The writing was simple, made of strange symbols. But slowly, word by word, he decoded it. The last message from one ship made his blood run cold. They came without warning. We tried to talk. They fired. We are unarmed. Please, if anyone finds this, tell Earth we tried to make peace. Earth. That was the name of the human world. Day One had searched every star map in the Coalition database. He found it finally listed as Sol 3, an unremarkable planet in a small system. The file said it was empty. No intelligent life. Nothing worth studying. But the file was 12,000 cycles old. Across the galaxy, High Counselor Tae-min sat in his crystal chair and listened to the reports. His people, the Kreshvans, had led the Galactic Coalition for 3,000 cycles. They were peaceful, wise, and fair. The Coalition united 847 different species in harmony. But now something was wrong. 3 colony worlds have stopped responding, his assistant said quietly. Praxis 7 Theta Station and New Belvros. All communication ended exactly 17 days ago. Tae-min felt worry grow in his chest. In 6,000 cycles, no Coalition world had ever gone silent. They had no wars, no conflicts, no enemies. What could cause 3 worlds to disappear? Send Commander Hyun-sik to investigate, Tae-min ordered. Tell him to take whatever forces he needs. But tell him to be careful. We do not know what we are facing. Commander Hyun-sik received his orders with mixed feelings. He was Chitarii, an insect species known for their military discipline. His kind had evolved from hive warriors. But it had been 6,000 cycles since the Coalition needed warriors. He commanded ships that had never seen real combat. Still, orders were orders. He selected 50 ships and set course for the silent colonies. In a dark research station orbiting a dead star, Dr. Ji-won made a discovery that terrified her. She was Lumani, her body naturally glowing with soft light. For months she had been studying the black boxes from ancient battlefields. These were recordings from the Great Consolidation, the last major war before the Coalition united the galaxy. Most battles were simple. 2 sides fired energy weapons. One side's shields failed first. That side surrendered. Very few died. Very civilized. But some recordings were different. Some showed something impossible. Ji-won played the recording again, watching carefully. The enemy ships were small, built from metal that looked primitive. They had no shields. Their weapons were basic projectile launchers, nothing that should harm a modern ship. But they were winning. The footage showed one small ship dodging plasma fire with impossible speed. It flew straight at a Coalition destroyer, refusing to change course even as weapons tore pieces from its hull. At the last second, the pilot did something insane. He crashed his ship directly into the destroyer's bridge. Both ships exploded. Suicide attack, Ji-won whispered. They killed themselves to win. She checked the analysis. The enemy ship had 3 crew members. They had oxygen. They had escape pods. They could have survived. But they chose to die instead. What kind of species does that? Ji-won found the species name in the old database. Humans, from planet Earth. Status, extinct. Nodes, hostile, refused to surrender, avoid contact. But if they were extinct, who had attacked the colony worlds? Deep in space, far from any inhabited system, something massive was waking up. The colony ship Eternal Hope had been floating in darkness for 300 years. Inside, 10,000 humans slept in frozen chambers, dreaming of a new world. Captain Minji opened her eyes and immediately knew something was wrong. The ship was moving. The engines were running, but they should not be awake yet. The journey to their new home should take another 100 years. She pulled herself from the cryopod and checked the ship's computer. What she saw made no sense. The ship had stopped. Something had pulled them from faster-than-light travel. They were in an unknown system and there were structures here. Cities, stations, signs of advanced civilization. Minji woke the command crew. They gathered on the bridge, looking at the alien structures in wonder and fear. Are they friendly? Asked her second officer, Tae-hyun. Only one way to find out, Minji said. She activated the communication system and broadcast in every language Earth had taught them. This is the human colony ship Eternal Hope. We come in peace. We mean no harm. Please respond. The answer came quickly. Too quickly. It was not words. It was weapons fire. Plasma bolts struck the Eternal Hope's hull. Alarms screamed. People who had just woken from centuries of sleep now ran for emergency stations. Shields, Minji shouted. We do not have shields.
Taehyun shouted back.
This is a colony ship, not a warship. More weapons hit them. The hull began to breach. Minji made a decision that would change the galaxy. She grabbed the communication system and sent one message. You fired first. That was your mistake. She activated the colony ship's emergency systems. The ship was not a warship, but it carried tools for building a new world. Mining lasers, construction drones, industrial cutters, and nuclear reactors that could be overloaded. The humans of the Eternal Hope had been running from a war-torn Earth. They had fled into space looking for peace. They had spent 3 centuries sleeping, dreaming of a better life. But they were still humans. And humans remember, the aliens had made a terrible mistake. They thought humans were myths. They thought Earth was empty. They thought the old warnings were just stories, but stories do not fight back. Humans do. And somewhere in the Coalition's vast archives, an old warning sat forgotten in the darkness. It had been written 10,000 cycles ago by a species that had met humans once. Just once. The warning said, never wake the humans. Never threaten them. Never make them angry. Because humans do not have surrender in their nature. They only have victory or death, and they will drag you to death with them. Captain Daewon had just received permission to visit the Sol system. He prepared his ship for the long journey, excited to finally prove humans existed. He had no idea that across the galaxy, humans had just woken up. And they were very, very angry.